How region, February 28th. After I got up, I suggest Kalina to go to class with me. She refused at first, but after a little persuasion, she finally agreed. These days, she has been days because of the things in the hometown. I think she also wanted the distraction for a few hours. After she got to school, when the class was about to start, she told me that she was still worried about the family and she wanted to watch live news. And she's afraid she might miss some of the news from her hometown. On our way home, the taxi drove on mountain roads. The temperature was just right. In March, there's a spring sunshine unique to Xiamen. With the sun shining through the car windows, I felt warmed. With a gentle breeze in my face, which carried the unique feeling of the island of Xiamen, I felt cool and refreshed. Karina was sitting on the left side of the back seat, looking out the window. Her hair fluttering, her beauty was unparalleled. Surrounded by a certain feeling of happiness, I felt that all the worries in my heart seemed less important. That kind of weather reminded me of the summers that she and I spent together in her hometown. The summer there is the same as early spring in Xiamen. The sunshine is always just warm enough, and the breeze is always just cool enough. The weather is really nice, she said lazily. I was thinking, yeah, it's just like the summer in your hometown. As soon as this thought crossed my mind, I felt a sharp stab in my heart. But fortunately, I didn't say it out loud. I have to say that the cause and effect in this world are indeed subtle. An incident that happened 8,000 kilometers away could make me, an ordinary man in Xiamen, become someone walking on a tightrope. Her mom sent her a message saying she thinks they are out of danger. In short, she was finally in the mood to do other things than watching the news. In the evening, Rosie suddenly held up the iPad and asked if I could help her pay. When I saw it was a skin in the game Children of Light, which cost 128 yuan, I thought I would just pay it because this game is really therapeutic and it's a decent game for children to play. But I was sore to ask her mom first. I said, Kalina, Rosie wants to buy a skin. What do you think? And Kalina said, Rosie, if you can come here and write down the A, B, C, D, E, F, G and finish your math homework, I will pay for you. She really fell into a game with Rosie.
Your letters is too big. Okay, this one.
In the end, Rosie finished her homework and we bought her the skin. Kalina diverted her attention because Rosie was happy, so she was also happy. And she looked a lot more relaxed. When she went to sleep that day, Kalina held my hand. We are not the kind of couple who are stuck to each other. She rarely takes the initiative to hold my hand. March 1st. I went downstairs to the studio, made a pot of tea, and finished reviewing my lessons on the slightly cold spring morning. 9:34. I received a message from Mimi. On my way, damn. Bao and I use an app to practice pronunciation in the office. Back to idiots struggling with the AI voice recognition system. At 9:56, I want to order coffee. And let me tell you, ordering coffee in the office actually requires some wit. Because Bao is sitting next to me, so unless I resist the urge and don't drink coffee, I can't escape the fact that I have to order one for him too. And Mimi isn't here yet. I don't know whether he's still taking a shower or already in the car. If I don't order one for him, he'll walk in and see I'm drinking coffee. I couldn't help but feel embarrassed. But if I ask him and he doesn't reply, I will miss out on the best feeling of morning coffee. So I figured out a way to neither order one for him nor feel embarrassed. The plan was to ask him on the WeChat if he wants to drink the coffee, and then send him a very short countdown timer. If he replies after the countdown is over, then I could just say, sorry, it's too late, we already ordered. I have a pretty fast hand, and this I saw so. I sent the countdown timer within 2 seconds, but who knew Mimi had even faster hands? He could actually pause the countdown and responded very quickly. This was no longer a mental game. It became like a competitive sport. Mimi won. I conceded defeat and ordered 3 cups of coffee. At noon, we ordered takeout together. Surprised to see Mimi only had a pair of spicy wings and a Coke. I strongly suggested that to have the gastroscopy to rule out even 1 in 10,000 possibility of stomach cancer. He refused with a smile on his face, but I think the seed of worry had probably already been planted in his mind. Of course, I mean to say this on purpose just to be a bit mischievous, but the physical examination is not intrusive. It's just a waste of time and money to do a gastroscopy for no reason. But if it's done, and there is something, you might have saved your whole life, right? We happily finished a good day's work. I watched the 5th season of Better Call Saul at night, and the feeling is just as good as reading a wonderful book. No spoilers, I will only highly recommend it. I used to think that Breaking Bad set the bar for this type of TV show, but I think Saul is even more awesome than Mr. White. Since Kalina thinks her family is safe, she will come to a room from time to time to share the latest news with me. I'm reviewing my lessons and preparing waiting to converse with her at any time. After rereading for 1 hour, I turned on the first season of The Mandalorian, watched half of the first episode, but couldn't stand to watch more. I personally don't like it that much, but just because I don't like it doesn't mean it isn't good. In general, the production is definitely decent, but I personally think that the plot structure of the first episode feels commercial. The male protagonist shows how cool he is at the beginning by killing a few thugs. This kind of presentation feels a bit fake to me. I prefer the cool of the main character Sicario, plus the Mandalorian is wearing a mask all the time. When I can't take his facial expressions, I can't really empathize with him. And I'm not a fan of the Star Wars series either, so I turned it off for now. After searching on the phone for a while, I downloaded a few books, reading for more than an hour, and after reading many of the preview chapters, I found this title on Ender's Game. Reading is really refreshing. I kept reading until my phone ran out of battery. I plugged in my phone to charge and went to the toilet. During the process, I was super bored without my phone. Then I thought, I didn't have a mobile phone when I was a child. How did I go to the toilet then? I really can't remember. So I started to fantasize. I even thought out of the Stanford prison experiment. And I thought, is it possible that people's habit, characters, and behavior are actually entirely determined by the environment? The age-old question of nature versus nurture. Of course, a person of my intelligence couldn't answer this type of questions. Finally, before going to bed, when I set the alarm clock, I saw this number, and I told myself that it was a sign of good luck, which indicates that tomorrow will be a good day. March 2nd. When I got up, I tried to encourage myself, and I told myself that I must study hard today and roam in the eternal world of ideas, in the only universe of truth that can resist time. Discover what it feels like to be myself. By then, I've started to hear the renovation noise coming from outside. I don't know why, but in my community, I feel that there are always people doing home renovation, and the noise is more eternal than the truth. I put my earplugs in, went to the desk, and was about to review my homework, but I couldn't concentrate because of the noise. The earplug couldn't completely block out the noise coming from outside the window. Then I wasn't in the mood to study at all. So I decided to walk the dog. The grown-up world is just like this, full of environmentalness. After walking the dog and drinking coffee and reviewing my lessons, I felt refreshed. That day, Mimi was actually not late. I wasn't very used to it. During lunch, Mimi said he didn't want to eat and wanted to order McDonald's by himself. When I heard this, I guess the game would start. But I didn't have a leisure for games. So I said, let's go, my treat. He stood up and started to walk faster than me and Bao. When we were walking on the street, he suddenly said to us, let's just split the bill. I said, splitting the bill is not good. Firstly, it's not very expensive. Secondly, I wouldn't have material for my blog. Then he said, yeah, true. I don't know if he really didn't say it, but in fact, I didn't mean it when I said it. When walking into the fast food restaurant, Mimi pointed to two large dishes near the door of the restaurant and said, wow, these two looks good, but we ordered these, I wouldn't know how to split the bill. So I ordered first. Because the entrance was on the side of the road, we couldn't sit face to face, and we ordered big dishes, so I must grab the middle seat. That way I wouldn't be at a disadvantage when reaching for food. They are still too young. Sure enough, one sat on my left, the other on my right, and ate with peace of mind. From their conversations, I knew that they had no idea one person had planned everything and manipulated their choices. And this was not done by God, but by the hands of a man. The meal cost 87 yuan. I went home to take a nap, and Kalina said she would also take a nap, so we took a nap together. I'm used to sleeping with Rosie in my arms, and that day I suddenly hugged Kalina. It was kind of strange. I felt that Karina's head is much lighter than Rosie's head. Karina's head is obviously bigger than Rosie's, but it's indeed lighter. Obviously, her head is not hollow, which can only mean that Rosie's bone density is higher. Just like me. When swimming, if I don't paddle, I would sink, and Karina could float on the water and fall asleep. At noon that day, before I fell asleep, as I was touching her hair, I couldn't help but imagine whether we would still be like this when we were 70 years old, touching her head until she falls asleep. I thought even when I'm 70, she's still 5 years younger than me. So no matter how much time has passed, as long as I'm still alive, she will always be that younger little girl. Thinking of this, thousands of feelings ran through my body. At that moment, I feel that time never took anything away from us. What I touched was a 19-year-old her, also a 23-year-old her, at the same time, the present her. It's a sum of all the moments of her. It has the excitement of first meet, as well as the joy of reunion. In such sudden happiness, I fell into a deep sleep. This was a click on the subscribe button. Or at least give me a like in this video. After napping for more than 1 hour, my left hand was completely numb. When I woke up, the first that came into my mind was that the scenes in movie and TV show where couples sleeping in each other's arms until morning are all fake. In the afternoon, I went to the gym. The buff guys were not there. I put on my earphone and worked out while I rereading the class from the day before. I incline walk on the treadmill while practicing today's vocabulary. In fact, I don't like studying that much, nor do I like sport. And I'm not very self-disciplined, but only because nihility often overwhelms me. So I have to resort this kind of a physical and mental rest to combat nihility. And gradually, these two become my habit and essential needs. So I just went on with it. When I walk out of the gym, I feel very refreshed and wrote in my memo. Fortunately, I didn't drink alcohol last night, so I must not drink today. I want to use this sentence to remind myself late at night. I'm a really weird person. I'm two different guys during the day and night. I often have an urge to drink after midnight, but I've done everything that day. I've thought about this, and I think it may be because as I get older, the quick flow of time becomes more and more apparent. In the bottom of my heart, I'm slightly afraid of the end of each day. And alcohol at least allows me not to soberly and calmly face the end of each day. That night, I watched a few episodes of the Italian TV show 000, which was quite awesome. After 11 o'clock, I started to feel a little urge to drink. In order to restrain myself, I started to search online that alcohol is actually the level 1 carcinogen. Not touching any alcohol is probably healthiest. But at midnight, Karina and Rosie were about to get ready to go to sleep. I looked at the takeout app on my phone and hesitated for a long time whether to tap it. In the end, I thought, to hell with the level 1 carcinogen, why can't I be as bold as our ancestors? If I want to get drunk today, I'll get drunk. I placed the order, got the wine, went downstairs, sat in the empty studio, turned on J-Cho, and just as I was about to start enjoying the silent night of absolute solitude, I found that the washing machine at the door of the studio was actually on. In other words, someone put their clothes in the washing machine to wash late at night. The first thought that came into my mind was, unplug the washing machine and let the person who's doing the laundry know that the owner knows that he's doing the laundry in the middle of the night. Just when I was about to unplug the washing machine, I thought, why bother? So I went back to the studio, listened to 2 J-Cho songs, and waiting quietly to the washing machine to finish it. I don't know where the inspiration came from. I actually opened the washing machine and helped him hang up the laundry. I hung it neatly and in a very visible place. In this way, not only does he know that I found out that he used my washing machine, but it also won't make him angry or embarrassed. And then it won't cause any future troubles. I kind of admire myself. Reading Confucius was not in vain. In absolute silence, I listened to J-Chow. 这时间的画面的钟就反方向 and finished a bottle of red wine. It was very comfortable. 一颗心到现在还在抽动. When I got home, I looked at Rosie, who was sleeping soundly in Karina's arms. I felt a bit sad and I wrote in my memo, I just lost another chance in my limited lifetime, in Rosie's very precious childhood, to hold her while she falls asleep. What a regret. March 3rd. My watch showed me that my sleep quality was extremely poor, and with nausea and dizziness. I decided that I would start the Don't Leave Shaman and the No Alcohol Challenge. As Karina's mood gradually stabilized, our life returned to normal, unremarkable, and uneventful. After I brushed my teeth, I found the toothpaste had fallen off the toothbrush before I started to brush. There was no one at home, and when I was doing my thing in the toilet, the courier arrived with a package. And after exercising, I put my watch and mobile phone to charge. And I went to the toilet with peace and quiet. Then the phone rang. In such a simple and uneventful life, I thought again, hey, it seems I haven't got any advertising gigs for a long time. The video content update can't keep up, and the project progression seems to be slow again, and the stock price is falling again. Oh, I can't seem to remember what I learned in the lessons. The trouble of the ordinary life gradually returned as the crisis decreased. So I involuntarily developed a little anxiety again. This is how the adult world is. First, you set up many requirements for yourself to detach from the basic needs of life, and then continue to torture yourself under these requirements. I know that this is imprisoning myself, so I opened the notebook before the feeling of anxiety rushed out. I wrote all the notes in my memo into a journal. As I was writing, I found that my life is actually quite beautiful and fulfilling. Just like this, I was healed by life. And now, I will share this healing power with you, my friends. So don't forget to click on the like and the subscribe button.